YouTube, we are back on tiermaker.com to make our official top 100 NBA players 2024 tier list maker list. And hopefully you guys enjoy these tier lists, man. I really enjoy making them. And just a quick disclaimer, I didn't, choose the player pool for this 100 top players in the NBA in 2024 list. Shout out to Zanoli for making the tier list. I have 100 players here apparently, and we're going to be ranking them from worst to best in these little rankings here. So you have number 1, top 3, top 5, top 10, and so on. So, if you do have an issue with some of the players that are selected for the list, it is up to Grady's and Ali's discretion on who makes this player pool. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to disagree with some of my selections here, but if you do disagree, make sure you guys let me know down in the comments, because I'm always open to hearing you guys feedback and stuff like that. I'm wrong a lot, so I'm sure going to be pretty off on some of these here as far as what you guys think. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, because we actually upload content on this channel, NBA content every single day. We're covering the Olympics right now, so basketball content every day on the channel. Other than that, man, we're going to start right here, and then these are numbered things, so I'm gonna have to do some math here, right? Because top 25, I'm only gonna have to have 15 players in there. I'm sure I'll switch some stuff around towards the end, so I will leave a link to this TierMaker tier list in the description if you guys want to do it with me. Let me know what you guys have. So starting with Russell Westbrook, I'm gonna try to keep some of these player descriptions short, and why I'm putting them where I am, because we'll be here all day if we don't do that. So Russell Westbrook, I think, is an easy 86 to 100 for me. Not really at the prime of his career anymore, and I think this is a good spot for Russ. Do still think he's a valuable player. We'll have to see where he ends up next season. I know he opted into his player option with the Clippers, so there's talks about the Nuggets. Jaylen Brown's kind of a tough one to rank. There's gonna be a lot of people that put him in the top 10 after his finals run and finals MVP performance in the 2024 finals. I'm not so sure about top 10. I'm definitely gonna put him at a cool top 25. Maybe again, we'll switch some of these up. I just think there are better overall players. Jaylen Brown is a great NBA player, superstar, finals MVP, and it's hard because there's top 10 and then top 25. I'd have him at like 12th or 11th. So I'm not saying he's not top 15. I do think he's top 15, but that is not an option here. It looks weird to put him at 25. I understand that, but we will reorder them in terms of if I have Jaylen Brown and then the guy at 25th, I'm gonna have Jaylen Brown first. So we will be doing that reordering here. Jrue Holiday, I think, is a top 40 for me. Again, I think he's a really great player, probably like top 30, top 35 for sure. Again, I know this is gonna look weird, but I think this is a pretty safe spot for Jrue Holiday, right? So KP, same kind of thing as Jrue Holiday, great player. I think he's a little more valuable than, actually no, I think that's fine where it is. I think KP's top 40 pretty safely. We might move him to top 50. I think he's closer to top 50 than he is top 25, but I think top 40 is good for Kristaps Porzingis. Now this one's gonna scratch some heads. I have no doubt about it. I'm putting Tatum top 10 and putting Jaylen Brown top 25. Again, I think the placement is more like Tatum 10th or 9th and then Jaylen Brown like 11th or 12th, right? So I know this looks crazy, but hear me out, right? So Tatum, I just think, is a better player than Jaylen Brown. I know Jaylen Brown had a better playoff run. I know he won finals MVP. I know he was the best player in that playoff run for the Celtics, but can you guys really make a convincing argument to me that Jaylen Brown is a better player than Tatum, just basically without including the finals, right? I know Tatum had kind of a lackluster series, but at the end of the day, he is a NBA champion and made a lot of sacrifices offensively to make sure guys like Jaylen Brown, Jrue Holiday, and KP were able to cook, right? So I think it took a lot of maturity for Tatum. I've talked about in the past how he sacrificed his own numbers to win a championship, and I think more players need to kind of adopt that maturity in a position like his. So again, I do think he's just a better player than Jaylen Brown, but only slightly. As I mentioned, I think it's like a very thin margin there, but I think there's a lot of people saying just because Jaylen Brown had a better playoff run than Jason Tatum, he's a better player. So I don't know if I agree with that. I don't think I do. Derek White, I'm probably going to put top 50 or top 40. We'll put him in top 50 for now, just because there's a lot of great players here. I think Derek White, if he is top 50, he's like 50th. So, I'm actually going to put him in top 40 for now that I think about it. I think that's a good spot for Derek White. Mikal Bridges is going to be another tough one to rank, man, because there's just so many great players, and I know I'm trying to be a little conservative here with these rankings. I don't want to go too crazy because I don't want to have to reorder every player at the end. Probably going to put him top 40, but I think he's better than everyone here. Two-way monster, right? Newly acquired New York Knick. I think that's a great fit for him, and I'm absolutely terrified as a 76ers fan, even though we had a great offseason as well. But, I just think Mikal Bridges, I'm not sure offensively he's in that top 25 range. I think he's a great offensive player, just not quite like Jaylen Brown level or some of these other guys we're going to see. So kind of interesting, but, is what it is. I think Nick Claxton, probably have to go like 71, 85. We'll do this one for now, but I'm probably going to change it later. I think Nick Claxton's an underrated center. He's very talented defensively. I think could be a DPOY in the future. He's that great defensively. So, another guy that's an athletic rim runner, lob threat, right? So I think Nick Claxton adds a lot of value to the Nets, and hence him getting a $100 million contract. I think 51 to 70 is good. I could see him moving down to 71.85. So maybe we'll do that for now and see how it shakes up, right? But I do think he's close to that 51.70. Cam Thomas is a really good on-ball scorer, but at this point in his career, I think he, might have to slide back into a 86-100. Again, we're going to see a lot of great players on this list, and I expect them to, a lot of them, be a little bit better than Cam Thomas, right? He might be like one of the top guys on here just because of that scoring ability, but he's a little bit inefficient as a scorer, and his shot selection isn't the best. So I like Cam Thomas's game. I think he's a, again, 20 point per game scorer. He's going to be for his career, but at this point, I just don't think he adds a ton else other than really good scoring. I think if he increases his playmaking a little bit better, I think he's clearly a top 50 guy, but for now, that's just where I have him. Again, this could be different. I think, people are going to look at that and say Nick Claxton ahead of him. Well, yeah, because Nick Claxton is a defensive monster. OG Anunoby, another guy similar to Mikal Bridges. I'm going to put him right here. I think he's, maybe a little bit better value-wise than these guys right here. KP, we could probably slide up. I don't know, man. It's tough to say about KP. I could see an argument where you say he's above Mikal Bridges, and then I could see an argument where you say he's below Drew Holiday. So I don't really know. I think OG might be like a little in between those guys. Yeah, that's where I'm going to put OG. Definitely top 40, no doubt. Jalen Brunson has to be a top 10 player for me. Not quite top 5. There's going to be some better players on, that add two-way versatility than Jalen Brunson. And I just think, Jalen Brunson's ability to carry a team as a number one option clearly lands him in the top 10. People are going to say, oh, better than Jaylen Brown. Yeah, he is. I'm sorry, man. There's going to be some things you disagree with here. Julius Randle, probably a top. I'm going to go top 40 here. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Again, we already have, we only have 15 spots here, so we're going to have to be careful. We already have 6 of them. So, I'm going to load this up pretty early, I would imagine. My guy, Joel Embiid, got to be a top 3 player for me. Actually, top 5. I think top 5 safe. I probably put him 5th or 4th, right? Probably 4th or 5th. If you're watching this and you're a Knicks fan, you're not going to like this selection, or, people that just don't like Embiid, right? But to say that he's not a top 5 player, I think I could hear you out on a solid argument, but I just think, his two-way versatility, how he's carried the Sixers year after year after year. I know he's had help a little bit the last couple years, and I know he's had some playoff disappointments and obviously some injury issues, right? But I'm, grading these players based off of, basically what they've done, their ability and skill set and how valuable they are to their team, right? If they're a number one option and they're getting the playoffs every single year with a chance to compete like Joel Embiid has for the Sixers, again, I know he's had some struggles in the playoffs. I know he's had some bad moments and a lot of injuries, but listen, this is a top 5 player. I don't know what to tell you. He's an MVP candidate every season, and if he didn't get injured last year, he probably would have won MVP again. So that's where I have Joel. Man, Tobias Harris, I'm going to have to put back here, right? I think he's a little bit better than Russell Westbrook, but I don't know, man. Tough end of the season kind of taints my vision of Tobias. We signed a new deal with the Pistons. Hopefully he succeeds there, but man, for my Sixers, he was a rough watch at times throughout the playoffs last season. And again, wishing the guy luck, and I appreciate all the effort he put into this franchise, but man, 0 points in the elimination game. I gotta say, that's pretty tough one. It's gonna be hard not to let my Sixers bias here, but I'm actually gonna put Tyrese Maxey in the top 25. I think he's that great of a player. I don't think he's quite top 40, and obviously not top 10. So this is an all NBA caliber guard who can score efficiently with the best of the guards in this league at this point in his career. Great shooter, one of the best shooters in the league, has shown a lot of upside on playmaking, really increased his playmaking ability. So I think, Tyrese Maxey at this point can easily say he's top 25. I wouldn't necessarily say top 10, obviously, but I think top 40 is way too low for Tyrese Maxey. Scotty Barnes, man, he had such a great season before his injury last year. I'm going to go top 40 here. Again, we're loading up these top 40s, but Scotty Barnes, I absolutely love Scotty Barnes' game. I think you build around him if you're Toronto, and man, top 40 seems a little low, but I think Scotty is just so great, so much potential. He's going to be an perennial all-star for me, maybe even all NBA caliber player next season. He's going to have a real breakout season, I think, with Toronto next season. Jakob Poeltl's going in the back. I'm sorry, Russ, you're probably going to be the last one, but I I actually don't know. I think there's some maybe more qualified players than Russ on this list at this point in his career. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but you know, everybody on this list is a really good player or they wouldn't be on here. Pascal Siakam, I think he's got to be top 25. His play with the Pacers last season, part of the reason they got all the way to where they did in the conference finals. You give him a max extension if you're Indiana. I think it's a great move. I love Pascal's game. He's so versatile on both ends, and you know, he is one of those guys that I think is so slept on as far as, you know, what people think of him, how much they talk about him. It's just not enough, right? But yeah, I think Pascal's definitely top 25. DeMar DeRozan's a tough one for me. Wow, where do you put DeMar? I'm struggling between top 25 and top 30. I'm gonna put him in top 25 for now. I think he's still that great of a scorer. I think all these three guys are better, but I just think he's better a little bit than some of these. I don't know. Is he better than Drew Holiday, Mikal Bridges? Wow, that's tough. All right, we'll put him there for now. I think his elite scoring ability, his clutchness, right? His ability to score efficiently from the mid-range and get to the line a ton, right? He's always towards the top of the league in free throws. We'll come back to that one because I do have trouble like ranking him above some of these guys here, but you know, we'll come back. We'll table it. We'll come back to it. I think there's a good chance I might slide him down just a little bit. Zach LaVine is a tough guy to rank. You know, I have to be kind of critical of him for his, you know, talent level. I think he's top 25 for his everything he's showed throughout his career so far. You could make a case he's only top 50, right? You know, I might split the difference and go top 40, but that's being pretty generous. And I'm loading up on these top 40s, man. It's gonna be tough. We'll do top 50 for now. Again, I'm gonna give these guys the benefit of the doubt, and then, you know, later on, maybe if we have to make some you know, tough decisions, we'll move some of these guys down that I'm on the fence about. Zach LaVine's going top 40 for now, but he could be sliding down in a hurry. Vucevic, definitely in this range, I would say. Maybe even, yeah, I actually think Vucevic is 51 to 70. I think that's fair. I know he did a bad season last year. I know he has his issues in Chicago, and Bulls fans aren't the biggest fans of him, but really still a great offensive center, give you a double-double every night, and, you know, provide a lot of great offense for a team. You know, he's not even a bad defender all the time. I do think he's better than Claxton and some of these other guys. You know, Kobe White, I think, is Nick Claxton tier. I think, you know, he is a guy that for the Chicago Bulls that you could easily see jump up to like top 50 this season, right? He is so good for the Chicago Bulls. He is the guard of the future, no question about it. That's a guy you build around alongside your new additions like Montes Buzelis and all those guys. So love Kobe White's game. I think, you know, I might even move him a little higher as the list goes on. We'll see. I actually think, yeah, he's got to be, yeah, we'll put him there for now. We'll see. I actually might put him at 51 to 70. I think that's fair. I think that's really fair. You could make a case that other than DeMar DeRozan, he was the Bulls' best player and most consistent player last season. So that's where he's going for me. Jared Allen, I'm struggling between top 40 and top 50. I think he's, again, another guy that's super underrated. You know, you look at his inability to shoot threes or mid-range, people just write him off, call him a rim runner, whatever. This is a two-way monster on the interior for any team, right? And for Cleveland, he's a great rim protector. He's a great passer. He's a great rebounder, great finisher, and one of the best roll man in the league, right? He is a lob threat. He's a hustle guy, you know, high effort. He's a big body. I love Jared Allen's game as a center. This is the kind of center every team wants. And he just does his role maybe better than anyone as that kind of, again, he is kind of a rim runner, right? But I don't think that's a negative thing, right? He does it maybe better than anyone, right? So top 50 for now. We'll have to say I could slide him up, right? I really could. Darius Garland, I think, is top 40. Man, I might have to move Zach LaVine down. I think I'm gonna for now. We'll see. Now, hopefully he comes out this season for the Bulls and just shuts everybody up, and maybe they can facilitate a trade there. But he's got to put together a good season for, I think, a lot of redemption as far as what the perception of him as a player becomes. Donovan Mitchell, man, that's tough. Is he top 10 or is he? I think he is right here. I think he's like slightly worse than Jaylen Brown. I probably have him like 13th, right? Or maybe 11th. I don't know. I think Jaylen Brown's probably 11th, and then he's 12th, if I had to say. And then, you know, Maxey, I don't know, folks. I'm struggling here with some of these. I really think Donovan Mitchell, you could make a good case that he's top 10. We'll have to see. I'm going to put him here for now. We'll see. Evan Mobley, probably top 50, like right behind Jared Allen. I think he's a better defender than almost everybody you're going to see up here, but he, you know, has had some offensive struggles, and he's really got to put a solid season together offensively for me to consider him top 40, top 25. You could say he's top 40 probably. I think that's fair. I do think Jared Allen's slightly better of the two right now. He's just more polished and, more consistent. But, listen, Evan Mobley's a great young up-and-coming player. I think he has a chance to be one of the best bigs in the league. But again, the offensive inconsistencies is a, point of emphasis for me. I think if Kenny Atkinson can find more ways to get him involved offensively consistently, I think you have a great, top 5, top 10 center on your hands moving forward. Bogdanovich, another guy, not sure why he's up here. He had a great season a couple years ago, went to Detroit. He had kind of a lackluster showing with the Knicks, part of that Mikal Bridges trade. I'd probably put him right there. Cade Cunningham, I think, has earned the right to be top 50. Listen, Cade Cunningham, he gets a lot of flack from, just people that look at the Pistons record, right? 14 wins, that's not great, right? Let's put it that way. It's historically bad even, but Cade Cunningham, despite all the losing, he played like a star last season, and, this is an all-star caliber player, finally put together a pretty healthy season, and, he really improved on a lot of things, right? This is the guy you build around if you're the Pistons, and I think top 50 is really good place for him as far as value. Jalen Duren's tough one to rank for me. He has had some up and down moments of his career. Last year, people were critical of his defense, and I don't know. I think Jalen Duren's a really solid rebounder and finisher. He's a good athlete. I think if he can improve his defensive consistency, he's also a really good passer from that big man spot. That's an underrated thing about Duren. But I think Jalen Duren's, I think you got to put him 71 to 85. I might slide him down in the future. We'll see. Tyrese Halliburton, another tough one. We're going to put him top 10 for now. I think he's that good, right? This is one of the most efficient point guards we've ever seen in the league. And, I do think if he is top 10, he's, I don't know. Is Jaylen Brown worse than him? I don't know. God, we'll leave him there for now. It's so tough. I love Halliburton's game, though. One of the most efficient playmakers we've ever seen in the league statistically. You watch his game and it tracks. The eye test, matches up with that, in my opinion. He was kind of a different player after the injury last season. He came back and was a little bit less impactful for the Pacers, even though they went all the way to the conference finals as him being the best player. This is a guy that if he plays next season like he did in the first half of last season, this is the best point guard in the league. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. He played like the best point guard in the league. He was an MVP candidate before that injury. I'd really like to see if he, plays like that. He's certainly a top 10 player, but it's hard to gauge. He had kind of a up and down season again after the injury, but pretty interesting for me. Miles Turner, I think, is another center in this tier. I actually think Miles Turner will probably be, I have to put him here. He does a lot. He does a lot of great things. Rim protection, right? We've talked about how the Pacers might need a little bit more of a traditional center. That's why they went out and got James Wiseman, a rim runner guy. But Miles Turner is a great center from the perimeter, right? He's a great shooter. I know people want him to be more aggressive in the paint, stuff like that. He's a really, subpar rebounder for center position of a guy of his caliber at center. So we'll have to see how that turns out. But listen, this is Miles Turner, still a great center in this league, no question. Actually, you know what? Is he better than Vucevic? I think he might be. I think he might be. He's always, he's got some injury issues too. I think I'm gonna put him there for now. But then I'm thinking Clax. I don't know. I'm not great at this, folks. Let me know down in the comments section how I'm doing. I feel like I'm not doing great. Giannis is top 3. He is either the second or third best player in the entire world, in my personal opinion. He has to be top 3, no question about it. I mean, he had that injury late in the season that, hindered he didn't even play in the playoffs. That's why part of the reason they lost to Indiana. But Giannis, I know the last 2 years his team has lost in the first round. You go out and get Damian Lillard, and it doesn't work out the way people thought, offensively at least, for the pairing. This is a two-way player, the likes of which we've never seen in the NBA. Just a special all-time talent. He's got to be top 3 for me, despite what people think he's still in his prime. Damian Lillard, I might have to put him right here. I'm not even sure I'd put him over Maxey, if I'm being honest. He had a pretty subpar season for his standards last year, and that's tough. I'm going to give him the career benefit of the doubt and put him above Maxey, but only slightly, man. I think he is still a great point guard. He ended up having pretty good numbers in the playoffs, but his season in Milwaukee last year, he's got to be a little bit better production-wise. Hopefully Doc Rivers doesn't ruin this team too much, is what I have to say about that. But Brook Lopez, I think, is he's this level of center. I know he had kind of a rough season last year, and he's really getting up there in age, but this is, again, one of the more underrated players in the league for me. Totally underrated on both ends of the floor. One of the best defenders in the league. I know he's not a great athlete. I know he, again, people say he had a rough year last year, but 3-point shooting, some of the best you'll see from a center. Rebounding, not great, similar to Miles Turner, but rim protection off the charts. Defensive shot contesting, off the charts, right? This guy is a really plug and play center for a lot of teams. You know, you could space the floor with him easily, and he's just a really good role player, glue guy, I think. So, you know, I have to put him 51 to 70. Maybe we'll move him down slightly. Then I'm like his Miles Turner. I don't know. Now we'll keep him there for now. We'll see. Chris Middleton's a hard one to rank. I think I'm just going to go top 50 for now. I think that's pretty fair for Chris Middleton. You know, he had a great showing in the playoffs last season, despite his, you know, knee injury really hindering him the last couple of years. You know, people thought, you know, Middleton's done, right? He's never going to be the same guy we saw in the 2021 finals with the Milwaukee Bucks. But when you really look at his, you know, role in the playoff series against the Pacers last year, this guy looked really competitive, and he looked like he was back to me. You know, I think Chris Middleton's back. I think he just needed some time with that injury. He's got kind of a weird role with Dame on the team, and, you know, we'll have to see how that turns out, but I still think Chris Middleton is a great player and very severely underrated for Milwaukee. Hopefully he can put a great season together and, you know, definitely move up to that top 40 spot if he does. Bobby Portis is a guy I like a ton. I really do. I think Bobby Portis is probably like right up here. You know, he's a competitive player. He's just a total dog, right? And he's a great shooter, good rebounder. You know, he's a just good offensive player. I think Bobby Portis, he's a guy you want on your team coming off the bench as that backup 4, backup 5, right? Totally reliable player. I know he's a fan favorite in Milwaukee. They love Bobby over there, and so do I. I just love his game. I think he's a great player. So, you know, I don't think this really does him justice putting him here, but I just think that's kind of where we're at as far as this list. Clint Capella, again, another double-double guy that's capable of he's a good rim runner, lob threat, pick and roll guy, defensive rim protector. I like Clint Capella. I think he's probably like this tier of center. This is just all centers right now that are like pretty good above average centers. I think that's fair to put him here. I really do. You know, why you might say Cam Thomas is back here with all his scoring ability and upside, and why, you know, these centers who don't score much are up here. I think it's a matter of, you know, versatility and value. It's harder to find even an above average center than it is a shot creating guard that can score you 20 points a game, in my opinion, these days in the NBA, right? All three of these guys play two ways, right? You know, maybe not so much Jalen Duren as the other guys, but they all rebound the ball exceptionally well, and they're all lob threats that could get up and down the floor seamlessly, right? That opens up your offense a ton. It provides a ton of, you know, issues on the interior for other teams. It's harder to find, to me, like I said, an above average center than it is a guy who is a little bit undersized for a guard that can score a lot, right? And I'm not putting Cam Thomas down because I think he is capable in the future of doing a lot of great things playmaking wise. I think, you know, there is a lot of work to be done for his playmaking. I think he can get better at it, but just right now, man, his scoring ability is what separates him from a lot of other guards, and that's, again, kind of the big thing for him, right? It's not much else. So that's kind of my justification here. Jalen Johnson, I think, is the most underrated player in the entire league. I actually do. You know, nobody talks about this guy, and I think he's going to have a breakout season next year, and I have to put him 51 to 70 because we could be looking at a star in the making at that forward position for the Atlanta Hawks. Everyone's talking about Zachary Risachet, you talk about DeAndre Hunter, but this guy is the one to watch. I'm telling you right now, I'm not crazy, right? I've made several videos talking about Jalen Johnson. One in particular did really well, called, you know, the future superstar that nobody talks about. I really do think he has that upside on both ends of the floor. So Jalen Johnson has to go here for me. And, you know, he was a little bit injury riddled last season, but I might even put him like above like a Brook Lopez. Yeah, probably a Brook Lopez. We'll see. But I like Jalen Johnson. I think I'm really a lot higher on him than a lot of other people. We'll have to see if I'm right or wrong next season. DeJounte Murray, probably a top 40 guy. I think you could say that pretty comfortably, you know. This is a shot creating guard with, you know, a little bit of defensive potential as well. He's a really good playmaker, gets in those passing lanes, gets his hands on the basketball, and he showed a lot more upside on the ball last season when Trae Young went down than I thought he was capable of. Probably had the best season of his career offensively last year, but he rebounds well for a guard. He's just a dog. I love DeJounte Murray's game, and newly acquired Pelican. I think he's going to make a great fit on that squad. Trae Young, you know, despite all the hate he gets, I'm going to have to put him in the top 25. You know, this is a playmaker that you rarely see, right? This is a guy that give you 25 and 10 almost every night, and that's what he's going to average. And, you know, he turns the ball over a lot. He's heliocentric. He doesn't play defense very well as he's undersized and small. But the skills of Trae Young, the handles, the scoring, the, you know, playmaking, the ability to run an offense on a similar level that you see from a guy like James Harden or Luka Doncic playmaking wise, you know, this guy is not to be hated on anymore. I have to put him top 25, one of the best point guards in the league. LaMelo Ball, I think, is top 50. You know, he's, oops, Yeah, top 50. He's had a weird career so far, you know, kind of a very interesting one. I actually think the Hornets are a team to watch for a play-in spot next season. I really like the core that they're building. You bring back Miles Bridges, you draft a backup forward with some size, you know. Brandon Miller is an absolute monster. I think he should definitely be on the list. I don't know why he's not, but Brandon Miller's so great as a shooter already in his career as a rookie. So I think LaMelo Ball, if he can put together a healthy season, you know, he's really struggled with those injuries, man. If he could put together a healthy season, talent-wise, he's somewhere in this range, right? But, you know, production-wise, he's just back here at this point. I don't know what else to say about that, you know? Terry Rozier, I think, is a pretty good scorer. I think he's a little bit more, you know, of a valuable scorer than like a Cam Thomas. I actually think they're kind of similar now that I think about it, but Terry Rozier is a little bit more active defensively and playmaking wise, so I have to put him the 71 to 85 range just because of that. Mark Williams, I think, is a really underrated center. You know, I keep saying this, these centers, man, a lot of them get so slept on. You know, you probably won't hear much talk about Mark Williams, but I think he is up there with a guy like Bobby Portis, with a guy like, you know, Cam Thomas, that kind of range. One of the better young rim running centers in the entire league. Bam Adebayo's top 25 player, no question about it. The more I fill out this list, the more I might want to move DeMar DeRozan down, but we'll have to see about that. But Bam Adebayo is absolutely a star in this league, one of the top 5 centers we have today. Oh man, this is where it gets tough. Jimmy. You know what? Let's send it. I got a hot take for you folks, and that's Jimmy Butler's a top 10 player. I've been saying it since I have been uploading on this channel. We put a lot of guys ahead of Jimmy that don't have the resume that he does, that don't get their team as far in the playoffs as he does. I know he falls asleep in the regular season every year, right? And you could kind of get like, it's kind of the Jamal Murray thing, right? But Jimmy Butler takes teams with less talent further than some of the other guys people put ahead of him all the time, and I think that makes him a top 10 player. You look at his regular season production, you look at his skill set, might be a lot lower than some of these other guys ahead of him, but I think he's 10th, right? I think he's 10th, and people say, well, Jaylen Brown, you know, how is he better than Jaylen Brown? How is he better than Donovan Mitchell, Damian Lillard? Listen, man, I just gotta be honest. Would Jimmy Butler is capable of solo squatting the Celtics by himself, but yet you'd put Jaylen Brown ahead of him, right? Jason Tatum is just a better player than Jimmy Butler, right? Like, he's so talented that I think you just have to put him above Jimmy, but Jimmy just outperforms all expectations almost every season, right? And before he went down with that knee injury, I think the Heat were a real threat to the Celtics. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that play out, but I don't know. I think he's 10th. I really do. And, you know, that's going to be, those are fighting words for Jaylen Brown supporters, but I'm sorry, man. Maybe even Donovan Mitchell supporters, but I have to, man. I have to. We only got 5 spots here, so we got to be careful. It's gonna be interesting. We have 4 already, so I might have to move Halliburton down. I think I'm probably gonna, right? Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. And now we'll move DeMar DeRozan down. I don't know, man. He's such a great scorer. All right, we'll keep him. We'll keep it like it is. We have how many here? 6, 9, right? So we have 15 spots. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Tyler Hero, another guy that, you know, I think is a really great scorer. I'd probably, he's a little bit better of a playmaker than Terry Rozier, even though they're on the same team now. I don't know, man. The guys above just do a lot more on both ends. Yeah, I don't know. I think Kobe White's a little bit better at this point. I think you'd maybe rather have Kobe White. I know Tyler Hero is a great scorer, you know, instant offense, bucket getter, just a bucket, right? We'll have to see how this list shakes up. So I actually looked at this list and I thought about it. Cole Anthony, in my opinion, is a good role player, doesn't really deserve to be on the top 100. I'm actually going to replace him with Jalen Suggs, right? Because Jalen Suggs not on here and he 100% deserves to be. And, you know, we're just going to replace this picture with Jalen Suggs. Just pretend this is Jalen Suggs and he's easily up here, right? I think he might even have a case to be 51 to 70 with the way he played last season. Jalen Suggs is one of my favorite role players in the league and one of the best. Not Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs. If you're looking at the list without watching the video, I apologize, but, you know, it's going to look crazy, right? This Jalen Suggs, I promise. Paolo Banchero, top 25, easy, no question. He's got to be right here. Talk about versatility, man. He's like, you know, two-way beast, right? And if he can get his scoring numbers elevated even more without, you know, turning the ball over as much, you know, playmaking is a big thing for him. I think he's good at, but I think, you know, he's a little bit turnover prone, a little bit inefficient offensively. Get those efficiency numbers up. You're looking at one of the best two-way players in the league already. So, you know, he could definitely elevate, you know, with some more playoff success, a little bit more efficiency up to that top 10, no question. Franz Wagner, I think, is a little bit worse than Paolo. Just a little bit, though. Are those all those guys? Hold on. Let me move Hallie up here. Franz Wagner, God, he's probably better than DeMar DeRozan, right? Is he, though? I don't know. Just don't know about it. We're going to put Franz like right there for now. Now we already got 10 in each, right? So 10 of these in each. I'm gonna have to start making some tough decisions at some point, right? And you know, they're gonna be really tough to make. I don't know, man. That's a tough one. Wow. So we only got 5 more spots for each of these. Interesting. Kyle Kuzma, I'm gonna go top 50 here. Cool top 50. He's probably, yeah, I think he's up there. I think he's like 50th for sure. Jordan Poole, you're going all the way back here, buddy. You gotta be much better next season. Much better. We expect more from you, dude. We love you, but we expect more. Aaron Gordon, I'm trying to think 50, top 50, or Aaron Gordon's such a good defender, such a versatile piece for the Nuggets. Wow. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get the easy ones out of the way here. Jokic, I can't scroll up yet. Jokic is number 1. Clearly, I don't think anyone could disagree with that. I mean, maybe you could say Luka or Giannis, but I just, you know, I'd have trouble agreeing with you there. Jokic is clearly number 1 for me. I don't really have to, you know, really explain that. Probably the most efficient offensive player we've ever seen in this league from all aspects of offense, right? So, you know, this is a pretty easy one there. Jamal Murray, man, these spots are running low. These spots are really running low, folks. Wow. How many we got now? 11? Oh, man, that's so tough. That's so tough. I'm trying to think 71, 50 to 71 or 71 to 85. Probably we'll go here right now for MPJ. I think MPJ is one of the best shooters in the league. I don't think you could argue with that. The way he shoots, you know, is just electric. You can't find much value better than that from a guy his size at his position. He shoots as well as you possibly can with a hand in your face. You know, he could do it off the catch. He's just a great offensive player and shooter, a rare shooting talent, right? So, you know, this is where it gets tough, right? Because AE for me is top 10, but there's going to be some other people here. I don't know. But yeah, AE's got to be top 10. Rudy Gobert, I think it's fair to say he's top 50. Really had a bounce back season last year with the Wolves. And I'd put him like right here. Probably ahead of Kuzma for sure. Cat, probably top 25, definitely top 40. I'm gonna go top 25. I'm gonna go top 25. Again, we're gonna have to start making some tough decisions here, folks, because this is running out of space. I think we got 2 or 3 spaces left. How many we got? Yeah, we got 3 spaces left. This is not good. No bueno. Josh Giddey had a rough year last year, but I still think he's a really great playmaker. I'm going to put him somewhere in this range, probably like right here. I think that's kind of fair for Josh Giddey. SGA to me is top 5. I think, oh, wow. You know, we're really struggling with space here. God, man, top 10 is so tough. It's so tough. Wow. Let's just, you know, he's top 5 right now, right? That's what he is. So we'll leave him there for now. Chet is top. We still have what, 20 spots here? So let's see. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so we're good there. We still got a lot of room. Top 50. J-Dub's easily top 50. Whoops, that's D-Lo. Yeah, J-Dub is top 50 for sure. Wow. I'm struggling here, folks. I need a lifeline. Somebody help me out. D-Lo. I think D-Lo is probably, yeah, I think D-Lo's back here. Cool top 70. DeAndre Ayton, I mean, probably put him like right here. I think he's a good center. It's hard to gauge DeAndre Ayton because, you know, a few years ago, he was seen as one of the best centers in the league. And now it's like, he had a good year with Portland, but I don't know. He was really supposed to. So definitely not, you know, the contract is an issue. I don't know what his, like, he has such, you know, a high talent level and he had such a high ceiling. Like, I just don't know what the issue is. But Ayton, you know, I think that's kind of fair for him at this point. Maybe you can make a case he's up here, like, better than, like, Jalen Duren and them. Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah. Shaedon Sharpe, I really love Shaedon Sharpe. But again, another guy that's inefficient, scorer, great scorer. Shown ability to play make a little bit, kind of an off ball 3rd or 4th option on a really good team, I would say. Shaedon Sharpe, great athlete, great dunker, right? Good defender, but that's, yeah, I think that's fair. That's probably where to have him right now. Anthony Simons has to be like up here. I'm not sure. Actually, is he better than, yeah. I mean, one of the best, like he's what I want Cam Thomas to be moving forward. Like he is so efficient as that's like he might, you know, the shooting is off the charts, right? The on-ball shooting is similar to like a Damian Lillard. It's insane, right? One of the best like on-ball shooters we have off the dribble in this league. Great scorer, just a potent scorer, man. I love Anthony Simons as a player. I don't know. I think these guys up here are just a little bit more, you know, well-rounded, I would say, as far as what they each individually do. I think Anthony Simons offensively, one of the best guards, young guards in the league. Lowry has got to be top 25, right? Like he has to be. I'm going to have to move. Wow. I'm going to have to move someone down here. We're going to have to do a lot of rearranging at the end of the video, folks. Right now, it's not looking great. Lowry is clearly like up here. Maybe, yeah. Oh man, I'm going to have to scoot DeRozan down, unfortunately. I'm going to have to. So unfortunate. Curry's top 10. towards the back half of that top 10. And then I'm going to scoot Jimmy Butler down. So that's how many players now? 3, 6. All right, we got 2 more spots now. We have 1 more spot here, but I already know who that's going to be. This is full. This is almost full. We have 1 more spot here, but that's not going to be possible. Draymond, I think he's top 50. I think that's fair for Draymond. Maybe back here. Yeah, I think Draymond's about here at this point in his career. You could make a case some of these guys are a little bit, I don't know. His value is so high to the Warriors specifically, but I don't know about the rest, you know. I put Chris Paul back here. Yeah, I'd put him like right here. Still a great playmaker, one of the best in the league. And then Clay, I think Clay's like up here. You know, shooting ability is so great. It's all, again, still great at shooting and offense and scoring, but not a great playmaker, not really a great defender anymore at this point in his career. So you're going to get shooting and scoring and, you know, unique shooting and scoring at that. But still, I think he is still a top 5 probably shooter in the league. But I just think these guys are a little bit more complete, as I said before. PG has got to be top 25. Yeah, he's got to be up there. But so does Harden and oh my goodness, this is way harder than I thought it'd be. Oh my goodness, we have so many more great players to rank.
2 seconds later.
All right, I'm gonna speed run the rest of this. You know, mention these players. I'm gonna put the players where I think they should be, and then I'm gonna do a big rearrange where I'll probably cut at the end of the video. So stick around for that. Okay.
1 eternity later.
All right, let me do some math, and I will cut to the end result. All right, I love you guys. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for putting up with my awful list and my awful reasoning, because this is so much harder than I thought it'd be. I'll catch you guys at the end of the list. All right.
1 eternity later.
Man, this was tougher than anything I've ever had to do in my entire life, and that's an exaggeration, but I will say this was incredibly tough. All right, one of the hardest lists I've ever done, you know, so we're gonna go through it right now. Jokic 1, Giannis 2, Luka 3. These ones I'm really confident about. Then it gets a little less confident and it progresses severely, right? Embiid and SGA at 5. There's gonna be so many people disagreeing with me, it's not even funny, and I don't blame you. This list is awful. It's just so hard to rank all these great players when they're all in such great tiers. I think for the next list, I'll, you know, switch the tiers, right? The numbers are really, they're impossible, right? I should have just done like S, A, B, all that stuff, right? It's just so difficult, man. So Tatum, AE, LeBron, Brunson, and Curry, you know, these are really gonna be offensive to a lot of people and a lot of fans. I apologize. That's my top 10 right here. Again, I fully expect everyone to disagree. Anthony Davis, KD, Butler, you know, ahead of, you know, all these guys ahead of Jaylen Brown is gonna, I know, irritate some people. Devin Booker, Kawhi, Donovan Mitchell, Point God 2.0, Paolo Banchero, Ja Morant, Damian Lillard, Bam Adebayo, Wemby, Jamal, and PG. That's my top 25 right there. 40 on top 40: Harden, Maxey, Sabonis, Kyrie Irving, Trae Young, De'Aaron Fox, Zion Williamson, Pascal Siakam, Karl Anthony Towns, DeMar DeRozan, and Larry Markkinen. That's all the top 40. And then, you know, this is, you know, basically top 50: Drew Holiday, Mikal Bridges, Triple J, Kristaps Porzingis, OG Anunoby, Franz Wagner, right? I'm not going to read all these names. You guys can just kind of put a screenshot on it on the screen of all the players ranked so you guys can see. Just keep in mind Jokic is at the top. And then the only thing to note is this isn't actually Cole Anthony. I just mentally swapped him out for Jalen Suggs because that makes sense to me. Jalen Suggs will start 71 on to 85. This was a disaster of a recording. I apologize. Thank you guys for watching all the way to the end if you really did enjoy it, because you guys are heroes to me. I don't know, I don't expect a lot of people to still be here watching at this point in the video because, again, kind of a chaotic mess of a recording. Next time I will make sure to set up the tiers differently. This was a terrible system that I followed and it just didn't, it wasn't conducive to a good ranking. So, you know, it's just so hard because I feel like a lot of these players are in the same tier, right? Like they're the same tier of player, but like for some reason when you rank them ahead of other certain players, it just looks wrong and it feels wrong. But then like I kind of use my logic and I just kind of try to find the balance. So again, very difficult. Try it down in the comment section. I'll leave a link to it if you want to. I'm sure your list looks a ton different than mine. You know, the top 10, this was like the hardest part. Top 25, top 40, top 50. Like some of these, like putting like, you know, Mikal Bridges and Triple J and all these guys top 50 is like gross to me. It just sounds awful, right? Top 40, Tyrese Maxey top 40, Sabonis, like these are all NBA players right here and they're top 40. It just looks awful. So again, this is probably not the best system. I should have done like S, A, B, C, and so on, but that's probably what we'll do for the next tier list. If you want to see more tier lists like this, make sure you guys subscribe. Maybe not just like this, because again, I'm not the biggest fan of how I did this video, but it is, you know, something I'm going to be posting. We post all our recordings here, whether they're good, bad, or ugly, right? So make sure you guys subscribe if you want to see real content every day from an NBA fan's perspective. I am a Sixers fan. I don't know if you guys could tell right here, but I guess from a Sixers fan's perspective, but I'm just a huge fan of all things NBA. So all things NBA every day is what we're going to get on this channel. That I can promise you, basketball content every day. Hopefully you guys do enjoy it. You know, we're really trying to grind and grow this channel into something special here, and I want you guys to be on the part of the journey with me. Thank you guys for all the support, all the great feedback. Again, let me know down in the comment section how bad this list is. I won't blame you if you disagree, because I certainly will disagree. I'll probably look at this list tomorrow and be like, this is awful. I disagree with all of it. Again, it's hard to sit here and do this in the moment, because if I had more time to think about it, you know, tier lists are so like spontaneous and, you know, hard to do. Like I had to sit there for like 10 minutes and readjust all these pieces. So, you know, if you guys do have a different list, let me know down in the comment section. I definitely want to see it, right? But as far as like, you know, doing this in the moment, it's a lot actually harder than it looks. You know, I really did think, I went in here confident. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a piece of cake, right? Top 25, whatever. And then I'm like, this is awful. Like I like all these players and I don't want to rank them in a bad spot. So it's harder than it looks. I promise you guys, but make sure you guys have a great rest of your day today. Like I said, drop a like on the video if you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe for more content every day on this channel, and I will catch you guys in the next one. This is your boy D Haven as always. Peace.